The time is 6:30 p.m. The Louisville Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of September 15th, 2015 is now called to order, and there is a quorum present. First item is approval of the minutes of the September 1st, 2015 meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, may I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Kristen,
Second.
seconded by Alvin. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Agenda item 3 is a consent agenda for plats. This is a final plat of Castle Hills Phase 9, Section A. It's a residential subdivision with 177 residential lots and 15 common areas. It is on 34.367 acres. It is designated Estate Townhouse ETH, located on the northeast corner of Hebron Parkway and Standridge Drive, as requested by Land Design Incorporated, representing the property owner. Mary?
Good evening, Commissioners. The plat is on a consent agenda. There are no new variances requested. This preliminary plat did go to City Council last night where it was approved, and the Planning and Zoning recommendation is that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of the plat.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, questions? All right, may I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Sean, seconded by Brandon. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 is public hearing for consent agenda plats. Item 4A is the final plat of McGee Addition Phase 3, lots 1R-2A and 5. Block C, being a replat of McGee Addition Phase 3, Lot 1R-2, Block C, containing 7.196 acres, Zone Light Industrial L1, located on the southwest corner of McGee Lane and Farm to Market 407, as requested by G&A Consultants, LLC, representing the property owner.
This particular plat, you've seen the special use permit for it for the McGee Self-Storage Edition. So this is the plat that is basically subdividing the property into 2 separate lots, one for the new proposed self-storage facility and then the remainder. And staff would recommend approval.
Commissioners, questions? Okay, at this time we'll open up the public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak on this item, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. Okay, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, comments, concerns, questions? Okay, may I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Brandon,
Second.
seconded by Mary Ellen. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is public hearing for zoning and special use permits. Item 5A is consideration of a zone change request from general business GB to public use PU on approximately 1.222 acre tract. It's out of the J.W. King survey, abstract number 696, located at the southeast corner of North Charles Street and West Church Street, as requested by the City of Louisville, the property owner. This is case number PZ 2015-0913. Mary?
Good evening, Commissioners. This is a zone change request for the new Wayne Ferguson Plaza located across the street from City Hall. The city is requesting this zone change request. Typically, when the city has property, we try to rezone it to public use. This particular piece of property encompasses the actual park portion that the city owns. This will be a new urban park and gathering location located in the Old Town, across the street from City Hall and the Medical Center of Louisville Grand Theater. It's going to play an important part in not only programmed events, but just for the neighborhood surrounding it. Hopefully it will be an economic generator to bring new businesses into town as well. As we said, typically the city likes to rezone their property to public use, and that's what we're requesting today. Do you have any questions?
Just one question. Why so late with the zone change? It seemed like that would have been something that would have been done a while ago. Just curious.
The city can actually put businesses or own property in any type of zoning category. We are getting to it at a later date. Really no reason other than we're just getting around to it right now.
Thank
And
you.
it's typically commonplace to wait near the end of the project, because there is almost always some type of adjustments that need to be made when different elements will shift here and there. So usually plating and zoning is usually kind of one of the last processes that take place under a project like this.
When is this officially gonna open now?
I think that's a no-no.
Elephant in the
I
room.
told you they were gonna ask
Elephant in the
that.
room.
It should be opening soon. It should be open for Western
Western
Days. That is what
When?
that is what the plan is.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you.
All right. This time, we'll open up public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak on this matter, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. All right, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, do you have any other comments? If not, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, recommend approval by Kristen,
Second.
seconded by Brandon. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Public hearing 5B, consideration of a zone change from GB General Business to Old Town Center Business District, OTC, to Old Town Center Business District, OTC, on approximately 1.241 acre tract of land. It's out of the J.W. King Survey, abstract 696, bounded west by Church Street and north by West Main Street and south by North Charles Street and west by North Mill Street to the east. Is requested by the city of Louisville, the property owner. It's case number PZ 2015-0914.
Okay, so now this will be the remainder of the city-owned property that abuts the plaza project, outlined here in red. The city also owns this building here at the corner. This will be this alleyway here will be a mutual access easement, utility easement. And so, to get back to your question, Sean, we are doing this at a later date after everything was kind of done, because we had to do some acquisition of properties as well to get the alley. This will be a win-win for us as well as the businesses that back up to the park. Why we're doing Old Town Center Business District for this portion of it, it just makes more sense in terms of the setback requirements. So we do have the building that's back here with Old Town Center Business District. It has 0 setback requirements, which fits in with, I guess, our plans for this property here. It does also comply with the Old Town Master Plan for this area. Do you have any questions?
Guess not.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mary. This time we'll open up the public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak on this subject, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. All right, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Comments, commissioners? All right, may I have a motion to recommend approval?
I move to approve.
Move to approve by Mary Ellen,
Second.
seconded by Brandon. Those in favor signify aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Last
Mr.
item.
Chairman, both of these zoning change items will be considered by the city council in a public hearing on Monday, October the 5th at 7:00 p.m.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, item number 5C. Consideration of a special use permit for the construction of a communications tower on existing 0.77 acre lot, legally described as Lot 1, Block B, Hillside Office Park, located at the southeast corner of Hillside Drive and Office Park Circle. It's an, excuse me, 819 Hillside Drive, Zone Light Industrial L1, as requested by G&A Consultants LLC, representing Texas New Mexico Power Company, the property owner. This is the SUP 2015-0909. Richard?
Chairman Davis and members of the commission, the request before you tonight was triggered by the addition of the cell tower. That cell tower itself does meet our 3-to-1 height ratio from residential areas. When looking at SUPs, we do look at the entire site. This site was built in 1985 and was just recently purchased by Texas New Mexico. And many of the development requirements were different in 1985. So in the staff report, there were 4 variance requests. Now, those will be considered and acted on by the city council, but we provide this information for these variances just to give the commission an overview of kind of the big picture of this proposal. But the SUP itself is for the cell tower. Like I said, staff has no objections. Staff is also in support of all 4 of the variance requests, and I'll just briefly give you an overview of each of those. The first one is to allow a variable width landscape buffer in lieu of the required 10-foot landscape strip. This buffer varies in size from 9 feet to 42 feet. So actually, it equates to about 65% more landscaping than what the ordinance requires in normal circumstances. The second is to waive the 40-foot stacking requirement on driveway entrances into the site. Again, staff has looked at this and has no objections due to the very low traffic volumes and just the impracticality of reconstructing those driveways due to the current configuration of the site. C is to allow crepe myrtles in addition to the approved tree list, and again, that's due to the location of the building and the very limited areas that they have for trees. They are planting some larger trees, kind of at the point of where the 2 streets come together, but some of the areas near the building would be more suitable for trees like crepe myrtles to be planted. And then the 4th variance request is to waive the required 20-foot drive radii. And again, this is a situation where, given the location and the traffic volumes, it just doesn't warrant reconstruction of those driveways. So therefore, staff is supportive of all 4 of those. And as far as the special use permit, staff recommends approval as presented, since this is a redevelopment of an existing site. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Is the tower a pole tower?
Yes, it's a monopole tower that Texas New Mexico is required to incorporate as part of their operations.
Okay, so it has their business plus other cell companies?
Don't
know for sure.
The engineer for the project is here, and he could probably answer some of those details, but I don't believe it's going to have any additional carriage. It's just, I believe, for the
And it's not
usage of-
camouflaged by any way, it's just a,
Just a
okay.
regular old tower.
Okay. That was all I had. Anybody else?
I had a question about the radii on the drive. What, it says it doesn't meet the 20-foot. What is it?
Let's see. Yes, I believe there is an exhibit that shows, I believe they're actually 5 foot. Well, the radii on Hillside Drive are currently 5 feet, and then the radii are 10 feet on Office Park Drive. And a lot of that has to do with the very skinny landscape buffer and how close the on-site pavement is to the property line.
Right.
And again, engineering staff has looked at this and they felt that it really didn't create any issues or problems. There was really nothing that really warranted expanding those driveways They've been in existence for quite some time, and it would require a very excessive amount of reconstruction way out into the street to correct that. So
I was just curious if there would be larger vehicles that would be accessing the site, and if those curbs were gonna get torn up because there wasn't enough room to make that turn.
from what we understand, there's not, the business will not be used. This is more of an operations center, so it's just basically passenger vehicles, and none of the driveways are fire lanes. That was kind of our main concern. Most of the larger radii are required because they connect to fire lanes, but with the streets so close to the building, the streets kind of act as the fire lanes. So the fire trucks have no purpose for accessing those interior driveways on the site.
Sean?
So what's the requirements if, I mean, right now it's this use that doesn't require a lot of cars and a lot of parking and that kind of stuff, and so the driveways are fine. If they sell off this and this gets, at some point in the future and gets, will it have to meet current, what are the grandfather?
It depends on what the use is. If it's another, if it's a
It's a
use that
non-conforming use?
requires
Yeah.
an SUP, then we would have to look at the whole situation again.
Okay.
But if it's a conforming use, they can continue as they are,
It's a
just
conforming use
as,
is not gonna be an issue anyway, it could be a similar type of business probably, so,
right.
right, okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open up a public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak on this subject, please come forward, sign in, and state your name.
Sounds like you have a few questions. My name's Doug Weaver. I'm the senior project engineer for this project. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'm with G&A Consultants here at 111 Hillside Drive, and this project's literally just right down the street from our office. There is not going to be, it's my understanding, it's strictly, they're consolidating some of their offices that are in our call center that's over in Irving into this building. The part that's going to need the communications tower is part of a requirement by Homeland Security that they have to have a backup facility for their McAllen, is it McAllen? Yeah, McAllen project. So in case there's ever a hurricane or some really terrible disaster that hits it, they can staff this up real quick and get it up and going so they can monitor the electric system. These guys, they have to think different than you or me. I don't, I don't wake up thinking of how somebody's gonna, destroy the things around me, but they have to. They have to be aware, and that's just part of the world we live in today.
What is the height of the tower then?
The tower is 80 feet tall. It's gonna have a couple of dishes up on, 4-foot radius dishes up on top of the
But does it
tower.
require lights for the FAA or?
That I don't know.
Since it's on a
Honestly,
hill,
don't
I
know.
guess,
I don't,
hillside?
I didn't think so, but,
Okay.
I guess if
Just
you get
curious,
above a
but-
certain height,
Yeah.
you'd have to, cause I know we're,
I think you do,
okay.
I think it's 250 feet or something.
I mean, we get plenty of, planes coming over us from DFW, so.
To sort of re-ask, are there plans for them to lease out this space in this tower to other cell companies or anything?
No, and part of the issue there is security. I've been sitting in on the meetings and at least paying attention to what's going on with some of these other issues. And they have to be really concerned about who has access to the building. They're concerned about the security of the building. So they can't, nobody can go in unless you got the pass card, the card, or, whatever form of identification they give you, or with an employee. So there won't be any other employees there other than Texas and Mexico.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you for that input.
You bet.
At At this time, we'll open up a public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak, or we did that already, didn't we?
Yep.
We did, okay. Did we have a vote? Okay, move to approve by Kristen,
Second?
seconded by Sean. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, this item will be considered by the city council in a public hearing for a final decision on Monday, October the 5th at 7:00 PM.
Okay, thank you. All right, having no other business, may I have a motion to adjourn? Motion adjourned by Sean,
Second.
seconded by Mary Ellen. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.